but we are happy to share this Kabbalat Shabbat with you from our home. And I'm hoping that, I know that we have a lot of heavy moments, some healing prayers to offer, and some condolences to offer. But we also have a simcha to share. So I'm hoping that the Siwaks, Nancy and Al, their children, and maybe even some of their 9 grandchildren and their families will all be with us as we can give them a special blessing on this, their 60th wedding anniversary. That is something to celebrate. And so we begin Kabbalat Shabbat with welcoming the angels. So I'm going to get the, oops. Let's see. These are blowing around here. Oh, I keep forgetting that. So Jim will help us welcome the angels. So he'll get the Siddur. And I understand that if you're on the website, you can download the Siddur with just a click now. So let's welcome the angels to come and bless us with Shabbat peace.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asari, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Harachamim, Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim. Akadosh Baruch Hu. Orchem l'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Harachamim, Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim. Kadosh Baruch Afuni l'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Harachamim, Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim. Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzitechem l'shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Harachamim, Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim. Akadosh Akadosh Baruch Hu.
the gift of time. The first thing that was made holy was time. And so no matter what else is going on for the Jewish people, we take this time to remember what is most important to us, to stand together in sorrow, and also to share our simchas. We call this our day.
יום זה לישראל, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה. אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה. ציבי את הבגדים במעמד סיני, שבת ומועדים לשמור בכל שנה, לערוך לפניי מעשר וארוחה, שבת מנוחה.
So with that extra soul, with that beautiful extra soul that we all receive on Shabbat, so that no one is ever alone on Shabbat, we call out to that which makes us whole with our love song, Chanudi. I call to you, my beloved. To taste the world to come. As we shamor v'zachlor, to guard, to remember, to take this time and make it holy.
בחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבורך, ישמיענו אל עמך, ענייך ושמועך, בשם תפארת ונתחילה. בחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סיפור חזה עכשיו התפילה. בחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בחדותי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לחדותי לקראת קלה, נקבלה, לחדותי לקראת קלה, ונשבע נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וצורפולה, תוך אמוניה סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. בחדותי לקראת קלה, ונשבע קבלה. בחדותי לקראת קלה, ונשבע קבלה. בחדותי קבלה, ונשבע קבלה. Oh, Susie, baby, לחדותי, ונשבע קבלה.
So now that we are surrounded by Sabbath bride, all of the peace that is the promise of Shabbat and the challenge of Shabbat, to take the ordinary and raise it up and make it holy. We're ready to call each other's prayer with the words of Baruch.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך, לעולם ועד. המבורך, המבורך, לעולם.
Gratitude for the quiet of the evening, praying that it is an evening of peace, that somehow the peace gets spread. We know our friend Miri is with us from Jerusalem. So it's already Shabbat there. I know, Miri. We're praying for the peace of Jerusalem because we know that when there is peace there, the peace will spread. And what will do that? Ahavat Olam, a love so great that it encompasses the whole world. And then when we understand that, we will be ready. We will be ready to hear God's call to us, the words of the Shema that say, Shema Yisrael, listen, listen to me, you God wrestlers, be as present as you can be. Hineni present. Be present so that you can come to know that everyone is connected. There really is no other. We are all really one family. So I invite everyone to take a deep cleansing breath, breathing in all that is good and high and holy. When you breathe out, it's been a week. A lot going on this week. Just when you can't think, it's gonna get crazier. It does. Just when you think something can't happen to frighten you more, it does. But we have this prayer. We have this prayer that brings us back to that truth, that we are all connected, that we are one.
Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך וקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם במזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. In every service, we do sing the same words that Moses and Miriam and all of the people of Israel dared to sing at the shores of the sea. So we too sing these words in every service.
מכמוך באלים אדוני, מכמוך נדר בקודש, נראתי לו תוספת, מלכות חרבונך, וקיים לפני משה, זאלי, 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 ענו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, leolam voed, leolam voed. Voed v'ne'emar, ki fada Adonai et Yaakov. וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. As you redeemed Jacob and saved him from his arms that was stronger than his own, so may you redeem all who are oppressed and persecuted. Baruch atah Adonai, Redeemer of Israel. Then Miriam, Lydia, the prophetess, she took a drum in her hand And we followed her with drums and dancing. And Miriam, 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 Miriam chanted with us. Shiru Adonai Kigaoga. Shiru Adonai Kigaoga. Shiru Adonai Kigaoga. Shiru Adonai Kigaoga. Sus verochvo Ramavayam. Sus verochvo Ramavayam. Shiru, 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 Shiru. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim ufros aleinu, spread over us the shelter of your peace. Blessed are you who spreads the shelter of peace over us and over all people, over Jerusalem, over Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim, Shamaru v'nei Yisrael, et Shabbat, Lasot et Shabbat, לדורותם בריתו ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. The children of Israel shall keep the Shabbos, observing it throughout the generations as a covenant for all time. It is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel, for in 6 days the Eternal One made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day God rested. Vayinafash, God breathed a soul into creation. Vayinafash, God breathed a soul into creation. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, Adonai Sifatai Tiftach. God opened up my lips, so that my mouth may speak poetry. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, so that my lips may speak poetry. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Bilhah, Elohei Silpa, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaNorah, El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim B'Pnei Hakol Zocher Chasdei Avot Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem B'Ma'an Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magin Baruch atah Adonai Magin Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah Be'ezrat Sarah אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל התרב להושיע, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נובלים ברופא חולים, ומציל אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממיד ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. למען נתן להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני בחייך.
To revive everything, to bring life back into our tired souls. What does it mean to renew and refresh and wake ourselves back up? What does it take? Hopefully, sharing Shabbat. So, take ourselves to the prayer for peace, praying for peace. What is peace? We've been talking a lot about shlemut, wholeness as peace. When all the pieces come together, when we don't leave anyone out, when everyone gets what they need, no one's sacrificed for self-interest, but we are really all working for the common good. It's been a long time. This week's Torah portion has some secrets about the kinds of leaders that we need to truly bring peace, that kind of peace. A great peace. Shalom.
Shalom Rav Israel Tasim Leolam Yedau Melech Adon V'chol Shalom מוליד ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני מברך את עמו ישראל בשלום בשלום.
So we have a little bit of Torah to share and a blessing to share. I'm hoping that the CWACs are, Nancy and Al are with us. I'm not sure how I can tell, but thinking about this Torah portion. Pinchas, it's kind of an odd portion, but it does, I think, does have some wonderful secrets in it. I'm sure Jimmy has some things to say about that as we prepare for this 60th wedding blessing. Yes, you do. You always do. Yeah, you do. But we know that in the portion, religious zeal is getting out of hand. But this is nothing new, right? There's a terrible plague going on, and people are scared. And they are trying to end this terrible plague. And so Pinchas, who is called a zealot for God, takes matters into his own hand and kills 2 lovers. Actually, the plague stops. The rabbis, don't know what to do with all of this mess, because it seems like Pinchas, this zealot, is rewarded what is called the Brit Shalom, this covenant of peace. But we all know that when we look closer, what we see is that the letter Vav in the word Shalom is broken. And it's always written with a broken Vav in the Torah scroll. And the Vav is really important because that is the Vav of Hibor, that is the connecting letter. That is the letter that connects the heavens and the earth. That is the letter that connects lovers. It is the letter that connects all of us. It is the Vav. It is the end. That Vav is so important, and somehow it becomes broken in this portion. It has a defect, just like the story. The extremism of Pinchas broke the peace of the very community he was trying to save. And the commentary teaches that this portion is trying to teach us about leaders. You see, Moses cannot choose Pinchas. He's looking for a successor, and he's looking for people to share his leadership with, but he can't choose Pinchas because the religious zeal of Pinchas destroyed those who had different opinions, different beliefs, and different lifestyles, very much like Korach last week. And God does not like when we take sides. God doesn't like sides. God doesn't like it when we take sides. Maybe we should say something about that. I'll take the dog inside.
Una.
Yeah.
She's
I got
all right.
I got her. Up here inside?
No, she's not.
All right, we'll keep the dog here. This is Sarika's dog from Israel. So the prophet Amos reminds us that God brought us from the land of Egypt, but also brought the Philistines from Capfor, the Arameans from Kir. So the portion, the commentary on this portion tells us that God doesn't take sides. You know, even though in this portion, you know, God is helping Israel, in other places in the Torah, we see that God helps everyone. You know, there's no teams, there's no sides in Torah, right? And the prophet Jonah reminds us that God cares for the people of Nineveh with the same compassion that God has shown for Israel. But I think the real teaching in this portion comes just as we leave the Pinchas story. Because just before we leave this portion, the Torah gives us a guide to heal the broken vav. Moses is giving out portions of the land to the tribes, and he's giving them out to all of the tribes, and he skips over the 5 daughters of Zlofchad because Zlofchad had no sons and he had died. And so Moses skips over the daughters because there was nobody to give the inheritance to. At least that's what Moses thought. But the daughters speak up, and God tells Moses to listen to the daughters, even to these daughters, even to these women, because everyone deserves to be heard, and that their cause, God says, is just. God doesn't take sides, and for the first time, daughters inherit and set a precedent that says to the have-nots, to the poor, to the others of society for all time to come, that there is hope for change without violence, for justice for everyone, and that there must be a place for all as we build our new paradigm in the Promised Land. And so I was thinking about this teaching as I was thinking about bringing a blessing to the Siwaks, who have been married for 60 years. And I spent a little time grilling Nancy and finding out some of the secrets of their healing of the broken vav. You know, how did they make shalom bayit? How did they keep peace in their house? And, you know, Nancy said, you know, we met and we just knew. You kept saying it was a different time, but I'm not sure things are that different. I think it was the two of you. They met in December and they were married by July. 4 children and 9 grandchildren later. Even though they were fixed up on a blind date, they are still very much in love. And so it is an honor to give you a blessing for your 60th anniversary. And we're going to try to show everyone a picture. Since we couldn't all be together, I know normally we would all be in the shul, we would have you up on the bima, maybe we would even borrow that special Torah from Nancy's family that we've used for so many bar and bat mitzvahs. But we have a very special picture to show. I think everyone who knows the Siwak family are going to say, oh my goodness, I recognize these faces, because if you look at the children and you look at the grandchildren, you certainly see them. Can you see the picture? Is it up there? Is it? Oh, so this is their wedding day. Engaged in just 6 weeks, married just a few months after they met, and together for 60 years. And I guess what I want to say as we offer you this blessing of Mazel Tov is, number one, thank you. Thank you for sharing this simcha with us, because we know that we will be together for each other. And I know you've recently had a devastating loss in the family with Bonnie, blessed memory. I know you are not strangers to loss, but all the more so to share a simcha is really what I think begins to heal that broken love. When we share our strengths as well as our sorrows. And I think the modeling of, that promise of that seventh blessing, the seventh blessing that says, even though Jeremiah didn't think that the time of Jeremiah was so broken, there was no way that he thought people would ever marry again or have children. But the rabbis came around and said, yes, as long as people do continue to marry and continue to grow their families, then there's hope that the brokenness will become whole. So I'm going to ask everybody that's out there, everybody who is streaming with us, the family that may be gathered for Shabbat dinner, if you're allowed to be together, or maybe even Zooming together with Nancy and Al. Nancy and Al, I hope you can feel our love for you, our appreciation for you. Certainly at CRC, but throughout not just the Jewish community, but the greater community. You and your family are really the people we look to continue to have hope that broken vav, that covenant of peace has a chance to be healed. So please, everyone, say with me, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and guard you and keep you safe for more healthy and happy years on this journey of marriage and family together. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the love and the light of your love for each other continue to shine bright and inspire so many. Yisav Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's presence truly be with you and all the people you love, and give you the greatest gift of all, that gift of shalom with that whole vav, a gift of shalom in our hearts, our homes, our community. And I know the world is less broken and more whole because of you. As we say, Amen.
Amen.
And Mazel Tov. Ready to Siman Tov and Mazel Tov a little bit? So if you're there, I hope you guys are throwing some candy on Nancy and Al. And everybody else sing with us. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ve'akol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ve'akol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ve'akol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ve'akol Yisrael. Take a picture down. Thank you, Nancy and Al, for sharing this simcha with us. Gosh, I hope you were there. It's hard to tell. Oh, I don't know. We're looking forward to being back together in person. We owe you another blessing. Hopefully 61, we'll all be together and we'll be able to celebrate. Jim and I just celebrated 40 years of marriage. Can you imagine 60?
The sixth blessing.
The sixth blessing. Od Shema. Another blessing. Sostasis That's the sixth blessing. So in every that one. So in every wedding, and then again and again, the couple receives a Sheva Brachot, or 7 blessings. At the wedding, we fill the cup with blessing, and that's the second cup of wine, the second kiddush in every wedding. And then you continue to offer Sheva Brachot. So Nancy and Jimmy just remembered a wonderful melody for the 6th blessing. May you be as happy as that first couple from the Garden of Eden, right? We'll remember that one. So, with our hearts opened, hopefully by sharing the simcha, we can offer a mishaberach, a healing prayer. I like to say a special healing prayer for Lois Canfield in California, and a very special healing prayer as well for Meredith. Oh gosh. Just hold Meredith in your hearts for a moment. You know, I still believe in miracles. I really do. Even with a broken heart. Even when there was no miracle. I will not stop believing that miracles are possible. So I am praying for Meredith. And we're praying for Finn Naylor and for Artie Silverblatt and for Wanda Stutz Ryan and Debbie Dwyer and Meredith Pritchard and Elaine Thornton and Rick Hack, and also a special prayer for Corinne. I hope you're feeling better. I really hope you're feeling better and getting through this pregnancy. May it go well. For Gail Rock and Huey Powell and specialist Evan Richards and Morris Tamsky and Carrie Schulman, Carolyn Harbath and Susan Schroeder, Ron Fagerstrom, surgery and Colby Trotter, and I know that there are many people who are working to heal. Some more names. So for all the people that you hold in your hearts that may need a miracle, for all the people who are struggling with COVID-19, please help us. We've seen plagues end before we're ready for this one. For us all to be smart, not spread, and believe.
What an efes urfuat habu. What an efes urfuat habu. The healing of the spirit, the healing of the body for those who know, for those we don't know, for those we know.
For Lois Bloomstein.
On my right, the angel Michael, on my left, the angel Gabriel. In front of me, the angel Uriel. Behind me, the angel Raphael. And above my head, above my head, above my head, above my head, Shekhinah. Michael, who's like God, Gabriel, God is my strength. Uriel, God is my light. Raphael, God is my healer, above my head, above my head. Shavina, Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim, blessed are you, great healer. Amen. Amen.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tzit gedula liotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim. לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו So, it's never too late to add names to the healing prayer, and I just saw that Heather wants her to pray for her mother, Marion Stock, and Autumn says, please pray for her and her partner, who both tested positive for COVID-19 this week. We are keeping you in our hearts, and we expect nothing less than a refuah shlema, a complete healing. And of course, at the end of it, unless you have something you want to add about the portion or teaching, any wisdom you want to share?
About what?
Inspired by a thought.
Inspired by a thought. You know, we need you, Pinchas, but we need you whole. That also you have a diminished yud in your name in this portion. One of the letters is small. So we need Pinchas, you know. Pinchas is identified in the Zohar with Elijah, I think. Elijah, the prophet. So with Pinchas, we need you to do your mystery work of healing. But we need you whole. So we're working on that broken vav in the breach shalom and the covenant peace. And you need to be working on priestliness. You need to be working on that diminished yud in your name. There's a place for you. We need you. But we need you whole.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And I think that's where we realize Pinchas is all of us. We all can have tendency to be zealous, maybe overzealous about things, and we need to be more like the Benot Tzolcha, who use their words and were patient. They wanted change more than anything, but they were willing to be patient and work for lasting change. I know that I think my friends Toby and Jane are on, and they worked so hard since they moved to St. Louis. What is it, 2 years? I'm losing my time, but I think so. Jumped right in and worked to close the workhouse. I went there myself to see and was convinced that workhouse needed, the medium security prison needed to close. And today I'm mean, it's going to close. It's going to take a little bit, but we're close to closing the workhouse. $16 million that goes into the workhouse will go, hopefully, for social services to help people so they don't end up in the what we call the workhouse, which is really a debtor's prison. It's where people go because they don't have bail money. They're just too poor. So patients working methodically to heal that broken love. And of course, at the end of every service, we turn to the Kaddish to remember those people who have died at this time in years past and those who have died most recently. And I did hear tragically, and I believe they're on with us, that Ezra and Sam's father, Rich Amaker, Carolyn's ex-husband, they are watching, I believe, from Northern Virginia, and Rich died tragically this week, almost 61 years old. And so we are sending you our sympathies, and we will stand with you to say Kaddish for him. Pray that his memory is a blessing, and that the legacy of his life lives on through his beautiful sons. I'd also like to mention Lil Proletsky, who was a force of nature. She was a Holocaust survivor. It's quite a story, and never talked about it, but lived 95 years, getting up every day and choosing life. She had children. She survived the death of her daughter, the death of her beloved husband, and still, until 95, she got up every day and chose life. So I also remember Simma's dad,
Ron Waxman.
Sim was with us as well. And Debbie Siegel, of course, for Steve's grandfather, Joseph Loomstein, for Rhea Davis, whose yard site we're coming up on, for Naomi Taub, who's also a survivor, and Joan Stoner, Mitch Burrs, and Sandy Berwich, Louise Mandel, Ralph Schauer, who was 104, Sandy Jaffe, Rita Ball, Judy Jones, Sherman Stiffelman, Carol Gerstein, Jude Eli Anton McCarty, Joe Sherman, of course, Suzanne Glazer, Betty Oberman, Pat Dewey, Maggie's mother, Dr. Melvin Lester, Susan Silver, Julie Eichen, Tom Trieger, and of course, Evie Goldberg, Elliot Gelman, Dr. Elliot Gelman, John Isaacs, Monty Ross, Debbie Siegel, we mentioned, Claire Hyman, John Kepler, Sandra Stone Feinstein, Don Holtzman, Lou Osheroff, Aaliyah Light, Bonnie Levens, Shirley Sewell, Gil Nussbaum, Lillian Eichen, Fran Hyman, and also recently Gary Krugman. And the yard sites that I have, the yard sites are Shirley Chackus and Edna Lander, Herman Keston, Jack Krieger, Celia Larson, Nathan Goldberg, Bobby Isserman, June Craven, Jack Zimmerman, Edward Vandervelde, Sam Temperato, Dolores Sachs, and Julius Spiegel, the father of Susan Spiegel and Miriam Raskin, will be with us in the morning, and Shirley Osheroff, David Yaffe, and Erica Bugazzi, the niece of Merle Freed. For all of these good people, and of course for the people you hold in your hearts, we have this this wonderful prayer. It comes kind of like an old friend. It's a challenge, this prayer, the Kaddish. It doesn't mention death. It says, love more fully, live more fiercely, and believe in peace. That's all we got. Like Will Pulaski, that survivor who saw the worst of what human beings can do. Imagine they made it all the way to Panama, her family escaping the Nazis. And in Panama, they were turned over to the Americans. The Americans put them in prison. And her father ended up in a prison, an American prison, with Nazis who then abused him. I know. It's like all these stories that we never really heard. Bizarre. So healing that broken vav any way we can. We never forget. Let the legacy and the lives of our loved ones continue to inspire us as we remember them together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'almad divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei. V'chayachon uv'yomachon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. V'agalau v'zman kariv ve'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei d'kudushat v'yichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran ve'alma ve'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shlomo Rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mirmah. Uya aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen.
Amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, ve'imru, ve'imru,
Shabbat shalom, everyone. I hope somehow the Shabbat brings us peace, a little bit more peace. We'll be back in the morning because everybody else is on vacation. So Jim and I will be back for the family service at 10 and for Shabbat morning service at 10:30. And then, of course, for Havdalah tomorrow night at 8. So that just as we had bring in Shabbat together, we can let go of this gift of time and paying attention to how we feel now, and maybe with a good Shabbos, see how we feel renewed by the end of Shabbat, ready to take on the challenges of the weekend. Sing something good. So we'll sing each other out.
ידו אבקירוכי והייתי שם והעירה ואמרוכי הביאתי אדוני לי ולא ירא. Into your hands I entrust my spirit. The time that I lie down and the time that I rise up with my spirit, my body too. God is with me, I shall not fear. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. May you have many blessings.